And just like that, Zach Wilson has the expectations of an entire franchise on his shoulders. Maybe, just maybe, the Jets finally have their guy. Coming later, someone on the show will tell you what's realistic in 2021 for this Jets team. Find out if it's good or bad. We welcome you to NFL Live, everybody. Minicamp, Jeff Saturday. We got Phil Yates. Also, draft analyst Matt Miller joins us, too. And it was just 8 days ago that former BYU quarterback Zach Wilson took the stage as the second overall pick in the NFL draft. Hi, guys. Now he's already in minicamp as an NFL quarterback. Life comes at you fast. Wilson making his on-field debut. You see him right there today at the start of this 3-day rookie minicamp. About 30 rookies present, including the 10 draft picks by the Jets. Excitement, hope in the air for Jets fans and for these rookies, too. Here's what Elijah Moore, one of Wilson's new targets, had to say about the quarterback.
Man, he had, wrote me on social media, say he was pumped, and then he had texted me, say how fired up he was. And just talking to him on the phone, I could tell he's like a general, and just by what he was saying. And, he's just super excited to be here as well. His passion comes out through the phone. So, for one, I'm ready to put this helmet on, and then I'm ready just to watch him look pretty throwing me balls.
It does look pretty. New head coach Robert Saleh and quarterback Zach Wilson have their work cut out for them. They're looking to turn around a franchise that hasn't reached the playoffs since 2010. That's not only the longest active drought in the NFL, it's twice as long as the next closest team. Come on, Jets. All right, Mina, what's the biggest challenge for Wilson transitioning to the NFL?
Pressure, Laura. Not just the pressure that he'll face as the quarterback of the New York Jets, which comes with more pressure than some other markets, but pressure on the field. We talked a lot before the draft about the advantageous situation Zach Wilson was in at BYU, playing behind a dominant offensive line. And we talked about how undominant, to put it kindly, the Jets' offensive line has been, but that's going to be the biggest challenge for him going forward. Now, fortunately for Zach, the Jets have made a couple of changes that should help him on that front. One, the offensive line is improving. Mekhi Becton, the draft pick last year, left tackle, was phenomenal. They traded up for Ollie Vera-Tucker to anchor that side of the line. And also schematically, there are a lot of things that new offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur is going to do to make Zach's life a little bit easier. The assumption is the offense will look like what we saw in San Francisco, the wide zone rushing attack with a lot of play action. That's also what we saw a lot of at BYU, and it makes the quarterback's life simpler. He's not going to be a sitting duck back there the way Sam Darnold occasionally was. But even with that help, it's still going to be a tough transition for him going from BYU to the NFL.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. When you start talking about pressure and talking about offensive linemen protecting the number 2 pick and how important that is, you are speaking my language, girl. Like,
there we go.
You could not be preaching more to the choir. But I'll even add to the pressure of learning the playbook. Listen, it's like drinking water from my fire hose. When you are all of a sudden the guy in New York for the Jets, they just traded away Sam Darnold, who was their darling 2 or 3 years ago, and now all of a sudden it's all coming at you. This is going to be a fast transition, and LaFleur can simplify the playbook, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many plays you have. When defense is disguised and pressure can get on you, decisions have to be made extremely quickly. I think that's going to be the biggest transition from him from BYU because of the talent level that's going from who he played against to what he's going to play against in the NFL is going to be completely different. It's just going to take time for him to adjust to that.
Yeah, Wilson told me at the draft he feels like his versatility and just his skill set overall is excited to bring to this Jets offense. And Field, it's kind of hard to talk about Wilson without thinking about Sam Darnold. And I don't know if that's fair to either side, but it's just the reality of this whole situation. So why can this time be different for the Jets and with their new quarterback in Zach Wilson?
Yeah, Laura, you're right. There are 2 comparisons we're going to make perpetually for the next 5 years or so. Zach Wilson versus the rest of the quarterbacks drafted in the first round this year. And then Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold, the man that he is replacing in New York. I think back to the Jets' 2018 regular season opener. It was a Monday Night Football game on ESPN. And Sam Darnold went out there with an offense that included several aging or veteran offensive linemen that were past their prime. There really wasn't a guy that you would consider a blue chip player during the 2018 season around Sam Darnold. The best wide receiver that year, Robbie Anderson, had 752 receiving yards. Not exactly the kind of production you want from your top pass catcher. This year, as Mina alluded to, you've got a left side of the line that now includes Mekhi Becton, a bona fide stud, and Oliveira Tucker, a projected stud. Context matters, and for the first time in a long time, the Jets seem to be aligned in their timeline. Everybody understands this is a fresh start, a lot to look forward to in New York.
Yeah, so Field, give us a tangible blueprint to follow here. What other team should the Jets say, hey, that worked, let's do that?
Yeah, the Jets should just look north in the division in terms of the standings, and also, I guess, geographically, the Buffalo Bills, who back a few years ago made a pick in Josh Allen. They moved up from 12 to 7 in the 2018 NFL Draft, a pick that was panned by some because of Josh Allen's accuracy issues during his time at Wyoming. And there were some bumps in the road early. Josh Allen did not fire out of the gates as this Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert type success story. The Bills made it to the playoffs early in his career, but even in the playoffs, the play that everybody remembers is him lateraling the ball in a very YOLO type effort against the Houston Texans. The Bills have stood by Josh Allen. They've given him pass catchers. They've given him great coaches. And of course, Josh Allen has put in the work. That's what the Jets should be trying to mimic this time around with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I think the Bills are a really good model, frankly, for a lot of teams when it comes to roster construction. But I'll also throw out the Browns, and not just because there are aspects of Zach Wilson's game that actually remind me a little bit of Baker Mayfield, but also because this is a team that, you know, with Baker, went through several iterations, made mistakes along the way, and then settled on a formula last season that really worked. One of the best offensive lines in the NFL. The Jets, of course, don't have that kind of talent yet, but also a very similar scheme to what I just described, what I think we all project Mike LaFleur to do. It's not unlike what Kevin Stefanski did when he came to Cleveland and brought from Minnesota, and this is all part of the same coaching tree. Play action, wide zone, rolling him out and moving the pocket, giving him easier reads. Those are all things that should make Zach Wilson's first year in the NFL a lot easier than it has to be.
Jeff, I saw you waving your hand. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think when I hear both of them, I can just tell you from a guy in the locker room is patience. I mean, both Mina and Field are giving you two great examples of organizations that were patient. I think the one thing, whether you like Sam Darnold or dislike him, you like Wilson or dislike him, at the end of the day, these organizations have to understand it's going to take time. Stefanski had the gift of 2 years of watching, his quarterback Mayfield go up, go down, and now he's kind of leveled off. It's going to require the same thing. Allen's ascension. All of that takes time. I think back to Peyton Manning. My second year, he went from leading the league in interceptions, setting a rookie record that may still be set, I have no idea, to going 13-3 his second year. Be patient. It takes time to get together as an organization. This guy can be good, but you got to give him time.
All right, you never know what's going to happen on NFL Live, but early odds on the show so far today, if you wave your hand, you might get in. We'll just have to see how that ends up playing out. All right, we're just getting started with Aaron Rodgers wanting out of Green Bay. We'll explore one potential trade destination that could be a huge gamble for the 2020 MVP. Emphasis on the word gamble. We'll tell you why. From free agency to the draft, O-linemen have been the center of attention. Coming up, our center, Jeff Saturday, ranks the 3 biggest O-line upgrades. Spoiler alert, Patrick Mahomes has a lot to look forward to. We'll be right back.